Happy Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Ooh, my glasses are dirty.
Womp womp.
I got new glasses coming in.
Oh, that's right.
They should be here hopefully by the end of next week. They said 2 weeks. Can you believe that?
2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know why it takes so long to get glasses
Prescription.
done. Yeah, done and sent. But whatever.
I don't know. That has not been a part of my life.
I tried
for a
contacts.
very long time.
And that did not work. I lasted not even a full day. I was like, get these things out of my eyeballs. My eyes just don't do contacts anymore. I got that repair surgery, PRK, not similar to LASIK, but not quite the same.
Hey, Maria.
And it changed the shape of my eyes. Now my eyes don't work with contacts. Sadness. But hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, it was weird
We
for
are
you.
in our second episode of 2025. What's weird?
It was weird for you when you had the it was like hurting.
Well, so they were uncomfortable, but it was also ghosting. Everything was like, there was like two of everything. Because there's like it doesn't fit on your eye the same.
Oh.
So it's not like a good, whatever. Okay. What do we got a new format. We got to remember what it is.
Format is
intro, announcements, stuff like that first.
Weekly insights, any kind of burning topics that are not topics, but questions or things that came up this week.
Which I have to figure out how I do that with all my burning topics or super geeky, sciencey stuff that nobody's.
Constant.
Oh, don't sound so exasperated.
No, it's fun because there's always something.
I wrote a 7-page paper this morning.
There's always something on his mind.
Me and ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my only friend right now. That's my
true.
insight.
I'm your friend.
You're my friend in a different way. You're not my.
I'm your special
You're not my
friend.
nerd. You're not my nerd friend. I can't nerd out with you as much.
You do.
Yeah, but you don't. You tolerate it.
I don't scour all of the research in seconds and respond with
oh my
the
God,
latest.
it's so nice. I can actually, I sit there, talk to my phone like it's a person.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yes,
and it responds back to me and gives me information and stuff.
He's now on a first name basis with
Chat. It's no longer Chat GPT, it's just Chat.
It's Chat.
Hey, Chat. How you doing, Chat? Like Chad.
Like Chad. That's what I was thinking of when you said that this morning. So me and Chad.
That's what's going on with me right now. Yes.
It's like you and Chat, huh?
Okay, so what's going on? So nothing new. We still got the thing in March in Arizona. That's the only thing upcoming. And then the cruise. Those are the only two things that are upcoming.
For both of us.
You've got what?
The Arnold.
The Arnold. That's right.
In 7 weeks.
Am I not going to that? I don't think I'm going to
You
do
decided not to go to that.
I don't have any vacation.
He will not be with me in freezing cold Columbus, Ohio. Womp womp. But Mary Grace will be, my assistant coach Mary Grace will be there. We will be doing the fashion show together. Happen to know that Tina will be doing the fashion show as well.
Yep. And is Mary Grace doing it?
Yep.
Okay.
I just said that.
Did you? Sorry, I was reading something that Juliana said. Sorry. Spaced.
So, and some of my ladies, I know Dawn, one of my ladies is going to be, I think driving. I think she's in driving distance with her sister. So I know we'll have a little group. So that's something I'll put out the details about. So if anybody else is in the area or just wants to go to the Arnold Expo and experience the Arnold weekend for the first time, or maybe you've gone before and you want to go again and you want to meet up with us, we'll be planning some sort of KBB meetup in the area once or twice, dinner, workout, something while we're there. So stay tuned for that. That's the first thing.
I wish I was going, but don't have the vacay.
I know. Maybe the Olympia. Maybe we can go to the Olympia. I haven't looked at the Olympia date.
It all depends on, the joys of having a regular job where you have to get time off and earn vacation time every pay period and all that kind of stuff. The fun stuff.
So that's the first thing for me in 7 weeks that I'm actually starting a mini cut for.
Okay. Yep.
And the other big thing is
I don't know why you need to, but whatever. I'm kidding.
Well, yes, you do.
You look good to me.
Because I'm currently
She looks like a snack.
We are working toward my show physique for this year.
Right.
So it'll be the first
Maintained for the year.
maintain, but main gains, but also get leaner. My goal this year is to get leaner than I've ever been before for stage. And so we can see what that looks like and then go from there and get some judges' feedback around that. So that ties in for me with the other big thing going on in my world, which is the Grace and Grind Challenge. Officially launched, officially started our 21-day habit reset, habit refresh. Started yesterday. Day one was yesterday. So if you're not in my group, you can still join us. There's no like
Cut off.
You can join and jump in anytime. Join the Keto Bikini Secrets Facebook group and you'll be able to join the challenge for free. And we are running a special inside, a special for the Academy. If you want to join the Academy just for the challenge period, we are doing a $50 off 1 month membership for that. So you can get all the details in my Facebook group.
Cool. All right. The only thing I got going on is I just finished the winter session of my master's program when we're starting my spring session tomorrow. So the next
New
session
classes.
is all going to be focused on research methodologies and theory and movement assessment and programming.
2 things you love.
2 things that I enjoy. So
This should
it'll
be a
fun.
really fun, enjoyable
This session will
semester.
be a good, yeah. The
Or what do
next
they call them? Sessions?
Sessions, yeah. Which is, I think, I don't know, it's 14 weeks or something like that, but yeah. All right, so what are we talking about today? Oh, insights. Any insights for the week? That's the next thing.
Well,
information, insights, and then topic.
I think a lot of the time our insights are going to lead right into the
Right
topic
into the
because
topic.
that's what drives the topic, right?
Yeah.
So,
I have an insight that's not topic related.
okay, go for
And
it.
that's because of what I've been doing with the research and reading. Guys, I can't tell you, I've been talking to her, and I think every day
you have
I'm
a new
coming into the realization of how much of a nerd I'm becoming.
I said becoming. You really didn't know that this
I
such a huge part of your.
I never thought I would enjoy. I've spent just this last week, I've probably read front to back 15 different studies.
Wow.
Just literally just the entire thing, trying to understand stuff. I'm learning more. And this is two insights that I want people to understand. I'm getting my master's. I'm going to get my PhD. All that stuff is happening. The stuff that I'm learning by just doing my own research is so much more impactful to my overall understanding than anything I'm getting out of school.
You know what I want you to share a little bit real quick is what is doing your own research and how is Google searching not doing your own research? Like what kind of, I want you to tell them what you're doing, when you say I'm doing my own research.
There's a difference between.
You read 15 studies.
Yeah, there's a difference between, and I think that's a really good question. There is a difference between there's a few different levels here. I got to see if I can think about this and talk on the fly because you'll put me on the spot, but that's okay.
Gotta keep you
The difference between doing research and looking up stuff on Google has a couple different aspects. And I think one of them is if you're looking for something to justify what you're doing, that's not research.
Ooh.
Okay, number one.
Ooh.
If you're looking for something to give you an answer or tell you what to do because someone else has said this is what you should do, that's not research. Research is looking for an understanding of why something is happening.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
So that you can then explain and understand. It's the understanding aspect. It's not just the knowledge. It's not just the information. If you're just looking for information, that if you want to get technical, that's an aspect of research.
Right.
But understanding how that information applies and why it even matters is the purpose of research, right? So I'm looking for things. I go into it when I have a question. This is one that just this week with all the stuff I've been doing, I realized that my theory I think is wrong.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yes.
For the past year, I've been going on a specific theory about what I think ketone metabolism is, where it fits into exercise science, and how our body uses ketones for fuel, and all these other things. And then, based on the research I've been doing, I'm realizing it's not what I thought it was at all. There's a lot of information. There's some experts, there's some studies, there's some data that basically contradicts everything that I've got in my theory about what ketones are and how we use them. And so I wrote an article on my blog yesterday and posted it. Everything that I thought was wrong. This is not what they're for. This is how they work. This is right. If you are doing research and you are not open to the idea that you could be wrong, then you're not doing research.
It really is all about challenging your
Right.
own knowledge and perspective.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, there's a lot to that. It's not like a really specific answer, but I think understanding, making sure you're getting good information, that it makes sense, and that you understand how it's applicable to whatever it is you're trying to figure out. And not using it, not just looking for things, because that's my challenge. Mm-hmm. I have very strong opinions about the ketogenic diet and what it does and how it's important and everything. What I'm finding challenging is looking at the information and not looking at it as a way to justify my opinions.
Yes.
That is very hard to do.
That's it. Yep.
And it's obvious in a lot of the studies, and this is one of the things you hear me complain about the most, is how much bias there is in all of the information that's out there now. So it's very hard to do that. And that's one of the challenges. I have to constantly remind myself that I'm not justifying, I'm understanding.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love that filter. Think about that, y'all, when you're absorbing or seeking to absorb information.
Yeah. So that's some of my insight. And the other aspect of it was what I just talked about is there's so much information that is missing, or I think intentionally left out of the existing scientific literature.
Because of bias.
There's so much stuff, guys, that I'm learning that nobody's talking about. It's not anywhere that I've been able to find it in any of the scientific data. They don't do it in the studies. It's not included in the conclusions or analysis. I'm finding obscure references here and there and having to put some puzzle pieces together to make things make sense. It's ridiculous. So hopefully as time goes on, and hopefully I can be a part of getting things out there and getting some people to start saying, hey, we need to start including this stuff when we do these studies. So we'll see how it goes. I want to make an impact there. So cool. All right. That's enough for me. What about you? Any insights?
I think mine were more of what drove this topic, which was, I was getting exacerbated as I do. Exasperated.
You were not getting exacerbated.
Put two words together.
Yes, exasperated. I mean, exacerbated is a word, but that's not the word you meant.
Yeah.
I would say fired up.
Yes.
Because that's how I get when we talk about this stuff.
Yes.
I was sitting on the counter and rah!
And it's one of the things that
Ranty.
happens a lot in our space because, and I've used, I don't know if I should use that term that I use sometimes, which is like, I know it's not just a woman thing, but it's
often women.
It is so prevalent with women.
Yes.
And so it's a pet peeve of mine, and it's something that if I could change one thing with the snap of my fingers, it would be this for women. And I honestly, actually, the more and more I learn and the more I research, I'm discovering the connection between this thing we're going to talk about and a lot of the chronic health conditions that plague women more than men, including a very difficult time through menopause and thyroid problems.
Yes.
And adrenal fatigue,
and it's
adrenal insufficiency.
And it's one of the main reasons, physiologically and psychologically, why women get so frustrated with men.
Ah, yes.
Because I've heard it my whole life, and I hear it all the time in relationships.
Yes.
He just doesn't care.
Yep. Yep. Honestly, ladies,
Everything just
we
is
could
whatever.
take a page from their
It's
book.
whatever whatever. He
It
doesn't
rolls
give
off
a
his
crap
back.
about anything.
Yep. Yep.
And women tend to not be that way.
If we could just take a dose of that every day. Like, seriously. Okay, so the concept is basically chill the F out.
I love it. That's what we should have titled this. Chill the hell out. Chill the F out.
And I've used the term female neuroticism because ultimately what I'm seeing constantly is just this overthinking, this overanalyzing, this creating a stressful situation or exacerbating
Yes, now she can use it properly. Woohoo.
an already stressful situation to make it more stressful, receiving and taking that on and internalizing that, like literally putting it
We're
into your
opening up some
body
doors.
and creating this stress shitstorm inside your body that now physiologically is expressing itself.
Can I just say something? I know we'll get to it, and it's probably not where we need to go right now, but it's in my head, so I want to say
Go
it.
for it.
If your identity is martyrdom, then you are going to make things worse for yourself because that's the only way you can feel seen.
Oh, we're gonna
Okay?
strike some nerves today.
You have the power and you have okay, I'll just say what I was saying on the counter last night,
Yeah.
okay? The one of the reasons we get exasperated when we have these conversations or we see this stuff happening with the people that we're working with, it's because we know that you're all freaking adults. You can handle things that happen. You use the analogy. If you're asleep in the middle of the night and it's 2:00 in the morning and your kid wakes up throwing up, you get up, you handle it, you do what you got to do, you take care of your kid, you go back to bed, and you go to work the next day, whatever it may be, right? When things happen, you deal with them. Why do we all of a sudden get overwhelmed when things are happening and we're focusing on ourselves? If I have to take care of other people, if someone else needs me to resolve their problems for them or coordinate stuff and make something work or make the plan happen, it's no big deal.
But when I have
to do it for myself, all of a sudden it's too much. I'm overwhelmed. I got to stop. I can't handle it.
Oh, that's it. That is the plight of women.
I don't understand. It's so exasperating because we know the potential. We know you can do it.
Yep.
Why won't you do it for yourself?
Or for your health.
Or for your health.
You'll do it for your career. You'll do it for your finances.
You'll do it for your family.
You'll do it for your family. Why is your health now? Oh, it's too. Okay, let's give some examples, right?
Literally, you took the words out of my mouth.
We were going to title this, "It's Not That Serious."
But that's kind of.
Which I've used that term before too.
It is.
I've used that term, and these are my mantras. The overwhelm is a choice is what we did title it. But two mantras I use a lot inside the academy is overwhelm is a choice.
And it's not that serious.
And it's not that serious.
Can I add another one?
Yeah.
Everything is figure-outable.
Marie Forleo, we got to give credit on that one.
Okay. Yeah. Everything is figure-outable.
Yes, yes. So where I saw the example, one of the main examples I see in many places a lot of the time is, oh, I would do your challenge, but I'm doing this other challenge. And now, I always say, don't bite off more than you can chew. I don't want you having 10 goals at once. 18
different things.
Okay. That you're striving for your fitness. You have a 54-point plan. And if you don't get all 54 things done today, you're a failure. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what I challenge is this concept of all or nothing. I'm going to do a million things or I'm going to do nothing. Right? I don't want you doing that. But for instance, the Grace and Grind Challenge, the whole concept of Grace and Grind is you can do more than one thing at a time. And you can do them well. You may not do everything perfectly, but the whole concept and what we're doing in Grace and Grind is I want you to do something for your fitness, your nutrition, your personal development and your self-care daily. Because,
oh my God, 4 whole things?
oh my God, I can't do 4 things, right? But it's because I want you to do 1 in each of those areas. 1 thing that is your priority in each of those areas. Not 5 things in each of the 4, and now you've got 20 to do in a day, right? If you cannot handle doing 1 thing for your fitness and 1 thing for your nutrition per day, that is a problem. If you cannot handle doing 1 thing for fitness and doing 1 thing for self-care, because I'm doing this fitness challenge to do a workout or do a walk or do 1 thing for my fitness today, I now cannot do self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care is going to go out the window.
Here's a
and that's
question.
something we see all the time in people's lives.
Why is it that when people get overwhelmed, and I'm using that term loosely, with doing things for themselves, right? Thinking about this idea of just doing 4 things. I'm going to do 1 thing for fitness, 1 thing for nutrition, 1 thing for, self-care and personal development, right? Mm-hmm. Why, when I look at, okay, I want to do 1 thing for each of those. Well, I can do this, maybe these 2, I got to figure out whatever. Why is the default setting to cut back on one of those 4 things, or say you can't do one of those 4 things, instead of looking at what else do you have going on in the big picture that you don't need to be even bothered with right now? How much extra energy and time are you putting into other things, other people, other activities, other just emotional energy, right? That could be going to you. Why is your stuff the stuff that has to go away?
Is one of these really important things that's key to my health and wellness and longevity and ability to show up for others and all of these other things.
Yeah.
One of these things has to go.
Yeah.
I can't possibly work on all of it at the same time. This point that Jenna just mentioned, perfectionism, has prevented a lot from being accomplished in our lives. Women often don't think of their self-care as important as caring for others, performing a job, etc., right? But the perfectionism piece, part of it is, if I'm going to do these 4 areas, if I'm going to prioritize something in these 4 areas, probably all 4 of those things don't need to be big, complex things.
Yes.
Maybe what I need to do is, if I'm starting a new training program and that's my focus for fitness, and I have not been doing a structured training program, so that's going to be really new and big and difficult and challenging for me, then the thing I'm doing for my self-care might need to be 5 minutes of alone time in the morning before I start my day.
Doesn't have to be anything crazy.
It doesn't need to be, my self-development may not need to be, I'm going to take a course that's going to take 4 hours out of my day. Yeah. Or I'm going to read a whole chapter of a book every day. Maybe what you need is self-development is, I'm listening to 1 5-minute mindset video in the morning.
Or podcast, or who knows what.
Or whatever it might be, or whatever connects to the other things. If your fitness programming is new to you, maybe your 1 self-development piece is watching
the videos,
a demo video to understand one of the exercises better. And there you go. It's connected and it's helping you achieve that new fitness goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
The other aspect of it, I think, that's challenging isn't just the perfectionism, it's the unrealistic expectations. Right? If I'm doing this, it has to be this.
Has to be 110%.
What you do and how much energy you put into it are totally up to you. As long as it's helping you move forward, who gives a crap what you decided to do and how much time and energy you put into it?
That is 100%.
It doesn't have, if you only have 100%, why are you trying to put 100% into 18 different things? Right? You got to break the percentage that you're putting into everything to make it fit into your bucket.
That's it. That's it. And that's the power of when we challenge ourselves to instead of saying, defaulting to, I can't, it's overwhelming, it's too much, I can't possibly do all this stuff at once. instead shifting to say, I am strong, I am powerful, I am capable. Look at all the evidence that I have in my life, like you were just talking about, that I am capable. And if I operate with the belief system that I'm capable, then it opens up the opportunity for me to say, how can I? When we're saying, that's one of the big kind of mental or language shifts I like to encourage people to consider when you're embarking on anything, is shifting I can't to how can I? If your default is I can't work on my fitness and work on my nutrition at the same time, instead, when you ask your brain questions, it starts to answer those questions. It looks for the answers. So, how can I work on both my fitness and my nutrition at the same time? Well, here's an idea. If I'm now working out in some way, shape, or form daily, I'm doing something for my fitness daily, what would I do or could I do with my nutrition that would support that goal, like we were just saying? You start to see all the other things, the self-care, the personal development, maybe it's the mindset. For you, it doesn't have to be those 4 areas, but what are your areas of health and how would each one support the other? So maybe it's, I need to be hydrated. If I'm working out now and I wasn't working out before and I'm sweating, maybe I need to replace some of that and my nutrition focus is going to be on hydration. Maybe it's, oh, I'm strength training now. So now it's even more important for me to prioritize protein. So I know that that strength training I'm going to be recovering better. I'm going to be building muscle. So now it's connected to my overall goals and what I'm striving for there. With you, we were just talking about last week, CrossFit and dance and how our nutrition goals, we're now seeing that through a new lens or a new light of, I need to be prepared for my performance to be on point. Yeah. So how am I going to maybe focus what needs to shift in my nutrition to make sure that I have the energy for my training, the recovery, the digestion. Maybe I'm moving my meal time so that I know that I'm not stuffed right before I go to class.
Farting during dance class.
So
1, 2, 3.
Let's see, what were some of the other things? Some other things that I see along the lines of this overwhelm concept is I'm behind.
There's one.
I see that a lot. Ladies getting sick who are in my academy. We always have a training program going on. We always have some sort of personalized macros set. And then we're always providing educational content. Weekly check-in feedback.
This goes into the expectation. I think this overlaps with
expectations, yes.
Yeah, right? Just because you stopped, there's nothing to catch up on. Just pick up where you were. Right? Or just pick up where you are.
Where you are. And what needs to be the next thing for you that's going to get you closer back to getting to 100%. So you get injured or you get ill, so you need to stop your training program for a little while. Maybe you're in bed all day, so you're not worried about tracking your macros. You're just trying to get whatever nutrition into your body that you can. And you're not worried about hitting your macro goals or tracking everything while you're sick. Those are usually the 2 things I see, which I encourage. I don't want you trying to push through the training program when you have the flu. I don't want you to try to push through the training program as written when you have a sprained ankle, So, but what happens a lot of the time when you get ill or you get injured, you're not doing anything anymore.
Well, there's a whole other aspect, right?
You have a sprained wrist or a sprained ankle, and now you're not doing anything for training.
And it's not just the training. You don't do the training, but then all of a sudden now you're not tracking your macros. Now you're not doing this. Well, that one thing, you're now allowed that because it's too much to worry about, too much work to try and maintain everything with the sprained ankle.
So you don't do anything.
So you don't do anything.
Now all of a
sudden, I got a flat tire, so I'm going to pop all 4 of them.
And it's not just that you're not tracking. It's that now you're eating junk. Yeah. So it's not just that I'm eating the way I always eat. I just don't have the capacity right now to stop and put it all into the tracker. But I'm still eating the same way.
Right.
It's just not getting reported.
But
that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So what I see is two things related to this. Either I'm doing everything the same, except I'm not working out on the injured body part, and I'm not tracking everything, but I'm still eating well. Oh my God, I'm a failure now, and I'm so behind, and now you're making this mean something that it doesn't need to mean because you're still taking care of yourself. Or on the other side of that, since I can't step on this sprained ankle and I'm now throwing everything out and I'm eating nothing but junk and I'm not tracking and all of that, but I'm giving myself grace.
well,
So it's usually one extreme or the other. It's either I'm a big failure because even though I'm still doing everything well,
that I can.
I'm failing because I didn't do my check-in this weekend or because I didn't track every single gram.
Yeah.
Or it's I'm going to give myself grace for the fact that I'm eating nothing but junk, not eating any real food, not sleeping, not taking care of myself, not moving my body, but I deserve grace for all of this.
Right.
Let's find the middle ground, people. Let's stop this all or nothing. I'm a failure or I'm crushing it and everything in between doesn't exist. We encourage you, my big thing is find the gray. Find the gray, embrace the gray. Live in this middle ground where, hey, this might not have been 100%, but where was it? Was it a 60? Was it a 40? Was it a 10? And take radical responsibility for wherever you are.
Yeah. Only the Sith deal in black and white.
Only the what?
The Sith. Some of you will get that.
Nerd speak.
Some of you will get that. Something else I want to talk about, and this is a challenge that often, I challenge you to think about this and see if this applies to you, I guess it would be the challenge. Often we see overwhelm being a choice because it is a way to justify not doing something that you know you need to do.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. I know I need to do X, Y, or Z. I should be doing this because that's the one thing that's been holding me back. I know it's holding. We all know the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that are holding us back. And we all know that we don't want to do them. So if I add that to my list and then I'm responsible for it, well, but if this comes up, now I can't handle so many things. I'll do this instead. It's a way of procrastination. It's a way of putting it off. It's a way of avoiding doing the thing that you know you need to do.
Justifying inaction. You're justifying inaction by choosing overwhelm. Here's a little question you can ask yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. What if I wasn't overwhelmed right now? What could I do? What if?
Well,
what would I do if overwhelm was not an option?
Could we classify overwhelm as an emotion or a feeling? It's a feeling, right?
It isn't.
Because we say feelings aren't true, feelings aren't real.
Feelings aren't facts.
Feelings aren't facts.
Very real, but
they aren't facts. Feelings aren't facts. So how do we deal with feelings? Wouldn't it be the same thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
What is the story?
It's just here's what I would say about overwhelm. It is not an emotion. It is not a pure emotion.
Right.
It is the way you would describe an emotion. So.
I'm feeling overwhelmed.
A first step might be when I say I'm overwhelmed, what am I feeling? What is the emotion underneath that? Am I scared? Am I sad? Am I tired? What is the actual emotion there? Mm-hmm. What am I feeling? Mm-hmm. Name it to claim it, I like to say, right?
Ooh, I like that.
So,
name it to claim it.
Okay,
Natalie,
if I'm
claiming
saying I'm feeling overwhelmed, now what? That's the other question I've been posing to my academy lately is, okay, you are wherever you are. The only thing that ever matters is what you do next. So now what? Okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. What next?
What next? I
What
like that.
now? What do I do now?
I've got nothing for that. I don't know what else to say. I mean, when you,
Well,
when you,
because
when you,
emotions don't stay around forever. Eventually it's going to pass. So
if you let it. Some people like to live.
wallow in it.
Some
That's
people
true.
like to live in the emotion,
That's
live in the
true.
feeling. Ooh, there's an eagle flying out the window, or
Oh,
a falcon soaring, coasting on the.
oh, cool.
Sorry, little distraction. Yeah, some people. I mean, again, the whole identity thing, right? This going
Well, and
back to
this
that
goes to the
is
what's next. Are
right.
you going to just perpetuate that feeling? And because you can make that feeling worse, or you can help it abate. It's your choice. I see this. It's so clear. The cool thing is, if you ever just want to watch Tony Robbins, one of his seminars, you will see how he will take people into and out of an emotion. He will instruct them on what to do in their bodies to create and make the emotion stronger or to shift the emotion to a different emotion.
Right.
And it just shows you that you have that power within you to choose the way you feel.
And that's the thing, you have the power. So there's another aspect that I want everyone to get out of this is that there is nothing that could happen to you that you don't have the capability to handle. Okay? There are going to be things that happen that are hard and challenging and you have to figure it out. But guess what? You will figure it out. Everybody does all the time. The worst thing could happen to you, right? We have all of this stuff happening in California right now. The things that are happening to the homes and the property and the people's lives that are being upturned right now in California is devastating. They'll all come out of it on the other end. I guarantee you. Right? It's going to be hard.
Is figure outable.
It's going to be hard.
Yep.
It's going to be challenging.
Yep.
And it's going to suck. But it will get figured out.
Well, here's the thing. Some of them will not come out of it. And that is going to be if they allow
Yeah.
that
There's that
emotion to take over and say, I can't do anything. This sucks. I'm just going to sit with this sucks. And this is now my identity.
Yeah.
And what they might end up is homeless. They might end up drug addicts. They might end up, who knows?
Because the events are so devastating that they just let it take over their lives. And that's a whole nother.
That's what is the same for you. Let's take that massive example of a massive traumatic event and say, are you making the minor details of your day-to-day life into traumatic events?
Right. Think about it. Well, there's a comparison.
They do not need to be.
There's a comparison. There's things happening in the world right now that if you were to look at that compared to the thing you're stressing out about, really?
It pales in comparison.
Really? Is that what you're really worried about right now? Talk about first world problems, etc. Right? Come on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that you can handle whatever you're dealing with right now. I promise you can handle it.
Yeah, shout out my mom right now because she's still healing from her tibia break in her knee and has been immobilized. And it's incredibly frustrating, right? It's been 2 months now. She's been told that it's going to take another month before she can put any kind of weight on that leg. Still assuming everything goes well and she recovers. And she was in a bummed, emotional state from that. It's like, it's going to be another month that I can't move. And we were on the phone and we were talking through it and she's just like, well, I have friends her age, because, she's getting up there. I have friends who are battling cancer, who are fighting for their lives. She has another friend with cancer who just lost her leg. She's like, I'm here with this break. It's going to heal. She lost her leg. Now she has to learn how to live and walk and everything without a leg. She's like, wow, that's what I keep thinking about is look at the people I know personally who are struggling with bigger things and they are getting through it. They are managing it. They're dealing with it. I can deal with this.
Yep.
Some things in your life are incredibly difficult.
I'm a firm believer that it could always be worse. I got into a habit a long time ago. You're walking the office at work and people, hey, what's going on? How's it going? My response is always either it's going great or it could be worse. Because there is nothing that could happen that I can't deal with, right? Yeah, the whole building could collapse while we're at work, and guess what? We still got to figure out how to get our job done at some point, right? It's got to happen. So if you have the mentality that every bad thing that happens is the end of the world, then think about that. You're always living at the end of the world. When do you get to enjoy what's going on in your life?
Well, and then, okay, you know what? What I used to love back in the day, the original Whole30. It was one of the most powerful things I ever did for my health. That really shifted everything before I even went keto. And what was so powerful back then, they had this manifesto. I don't know if they've probably taken it down by now, but it was, this is not hard. Stop saying that eating clean is hard. Cancer is hard. They put all of these traumatic life events, right?
I like that. Yeah.
In there. It was like, this is hard, that is hard. This is not hard. And we were gonna title it, It's Not That Difficult, or It's Not That Hard.
It's not that hard.
Right? Learning to track macros.
It's not that hard.
Eating healthier.
It's not that hard.
It's really not that hard. Imagine if you had that mentality. Instead of focusing, we see this a lot in the community, focusing on how hard it is to not eat junk food, to not satisfy your cravings, to avoid the junk food that you've been eating. Like it is the hardest thing you'll ever do in life.
Yep.
I promise you it's not. And I promise you it's only that difficult because you're making it out to be that difficult in your mind. Another question I used to pose, I think I did it in the summer shred a couple years ago, was, what if it was easy? If you looked at your health and fitness goals, the changes that you're making in your life, the commitments you're making for your diet or your lifestyle or whatever it might be for your health, ask yourself, what if it was easy? What would that look like? What if I chose for this to be easy? I guess he wants me to just run with this because you didn't excuse yourself, babe.
I'll read that.
Did you take off your?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to know what's going on in there. But yeah, there's another question you can ask yourself when you're feeling like your health, your nutrition, or your training, or whatever commitment you made is so difficult and it's so overwhelming. What if it was easy? If I chose to make this easy, what would that look like? Because the truth is you're actually making it difficult for yourself. We got some good comments over here on the YouTube. I'm going to take this opportunity to read through them. Oh, Whitney, I love this. She says, I think that everything doesn't happen for a reason. Everything happens for a lesson. I like that language there. The words we use are very insightful. This is why I encourage journaling. When you're just, and this could be another actual really practical tip for dealing with the feelings of overwhelm. When you're in that state, take a moment, Say, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I can't take action. That's the story you're telling yourself. Sit down and write down. Try to get very, very clear on what you're feeling. Get it on paper, because when we have these emotions going on, we let them. What tends to send us into inaction is when we're letting them spiral. We're not capturing them. We're not getting them out of our head. We're just letting them ruminate in our head, and then they spiral and they just get out of control.
I want to reiterate what you just said, because I think that's a powerful piece here. We're not saying, and we talk about this when we talk about feelings and emotions as well, we're not saying that overwhelm is bad. We're not saying don't feel overwhelmed. What we're saying is don't make the decisions, don't make the decisions that impact your progress in your health based on feelings of overwhelm. Right? You're going to feel overwhelmed. When things happen, that's the feeling that you have. That doesn't mean it's true. Okay? That doesn't mean you have too much to handle. You feel like you have a lot to handle. The proper response to that is, what do I actually have going on? What are my priorities? Where am I trying to go? How do I make this work?
Get out of your head and into reality. Ground yourself in reality.
Yes. We're not saying avoid overwhelm. We're saying understand it and work through it.
Just like anything else.
Just like
it's
anything
a trigger.
else.
It's a trigger.
It's a flag. Something's going on. You need to make an adjustment.
Oh, I've got a good one here that I bet a lot of people have never thought about. But this was an insight I had this week.
Okay.
And here I am getting another hot flash. It's about hot flashes. I recognized something. I was like...
Every time you're around me, you get a hot flash.
It's not that I've never experienced this before when I was premenopausal my entire life. I have experienced it before. Getting flushed.
Oh,
because hot flashes are like these, for those who are not there yet, it is like an inner heat that permeates
every fiber of your being.
Yeah, like I'm getting it right now. Your whole body just like internally, it's an internal inferno is the term I used. So I identified though that I felt this before. And it is the way I have always felt in my life when I have these moments of overwhelm.
Oh, wow, interesting.
It's this like, I'm like overheated, I'm like flushed.
Interesting.
And so now when it happens, it's this kind of reminder, it's like a cue for me to say, okay, take a step back.
Take a deep breath.
And I'll tell you what, when I do, I just showed him my whole...
God, I got a whole butt cheek right there. That was good. I like that. Okay.
But ladies, when I take that step back, I'm like, oh, it abates. It goes away quicker. It's a shorter lived situation. Whereas
instead of living in it.
If I or like, let's say I'm in the middle of a project or something that I'm working on and I get a hot flash. I'm like, okay, step away for a minute. Obviously, put your hair up. Put your hair up or take your clothes off or both is usually what I do. Or go step out on the balcony because it's winter right now so I can get like a quick cold rush.
Or just at least open the door, yeah.
But it's like, take a step back, breathe. It's honestly having that realization and having that kind of response to it. It's actually now kind of a very helpful thing in my life that
you get to take a break every once in a while.
I'm actually making myself take a break. It's like a cue for me now.
See, here's the thing is, and this is one of those things that you see the difference in mentality between people. There's people who are going through the exact same thing right now who hate their life because, oh my God, these hot flashes are the worst thing ever. They disrupt me. They're this, they're that, they're whatever. And it's like they haven't accepted that this is going to be part of their life now. They need to figure it out and move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can
absolutely.
just accept this is where I'm at right now. I can't stop them completely.
Yes.
So I have to figure out they're now a part of me.
So what do I do?
What do I do? What do I do?
Next?
What's next?
Right? It's
Right.
gone. Look at
Accept
that.
it.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a huge
It's like,
part
guys,
of it.
you all got to pay taxes, right? Everyone pays taxes. You know it's coming. You know you got to do it. It sucks, but you do it anyways. You figure it out. You go to the tax. You get TurboTax, whatever. You go to your CPA. You do what you got to do to make it happen. There are things in life that get imposed on us by life that we
Ooh.
cannot avoid. We must accept, integrate them, and move on.
Ooh, there's the word integrate.
That's it.
Yeah,
There's
you know
nothing
what?
we got to do. What we got to do
And
sometimes.
look, if you don't, what you're creating is this health debt. This health debt. Yep. And I gave that example, right? That was me. I avoided taxes and woo, did it come back and steal more from me than I really didn't want to give Uncle Sam that extra that I did not have to give.
But also the having to go back and find stuff because
Oh,
you
the
didn't do
extra
it years
work.
ago. The extra work it
Well,
took, and
for those of you who
Yeah.
are struggling now with your health, it is because it was ignored for as long as it was ignored, and now it's a bigger problem than it needs to be. And now it feels so much harder because you didn't just take the smaller steps way back, right? So, and this connection, ladies, I want you to really hear this connection of the stress level that you are accepting, receiving, allowing, exacerbating in your life is directly connected to your physical health. This cortisol discussion we're hearing a lot about, I'm eventually going to do a masterclass on that.
cortisol, hormones, blood
Hormonal
pressure.
dysregulation, blood sugar dysregulation,
everything.
all of the things that end up impacting us, especially later in life, and the menopausal transition and all of that, the thyroid problems, it's all connected to stress.
Can't build muscle, can't get stronger. Chill out.
Chill the F out.
Can't get sleep. Chill out.
100%.
So, in other words, yes, we know it's hard. Yes, we know there are challenges, and we're not trying to diminish anybody's existing circumstances or anything that's going on in your life right now. What this message is all about, and hopefully you made it all the way through, is that you have
Have a
the
choice.
power, you have control, you can be and get to wherever you want to be. Don't let your circumstances control your progress. You can figure it out. It's all,
Hopefully,
you got the
this
power.
has empowered you to know that you're capable.
You're capable, absolutely. That's what started when we were talking about this the other day. That was one of the things, I think, at the core. We probably should have said this at the beginning. The core of the discussion is it's not as bad as you think it is. Number one, you're probably conflating how bad things are, okay?
Or how difficult
Or how
things are.
difficult. And then number two, you have more ability than you're giving yourself credit for.
Yes.
When you put the two of those things together, there's a whole bunch of space in between that gives you some power to take care of things, guys and gals, right? You can do a lot. There's a lot there's a lot of potential there for you to get improvements and make things better for yourself. So,
And you know what kills overwhelm in its tracks? Action. Doing one thing. So here's a practical tip to take the next time you feel that. Just identify what is the one action I can take right now toward one of the things. If the overwhelm is coming from all the things you're thinking about doing, it's because you're thinking about doing all the things. You can't do it all at once. So what is the one priority right now in this moment that I need to be focused on right now? And let me take action on that. The second you take action, the overwhelm will dissipate. And it will then reduce the number of things that is on your plate to do. So, action.
Yeah.
Take action. Stop stopping yourself.
stop stopping. Keep going. See you
All
guys.
right, y'all. Have a great week.
Any last words? No? Great week. What are we talking about next week? Oh,
We don't know
I do
yet.
want to ask you guys, give us ideas. Ask us questions, right? We love feedback.
What do
This
you want to
week,
see on a coffee talk?
I don't think I've seen nothing in my Discord this week that was a question or anything that kind of brought anything up. It was kind of a slow week as far as ideas from people. We were thinking up ideas on ourselves.
Yes.
From ourselves. So
Yes.
we love getting feedback from you guys. So if you have any questions or things you want us to talk about, please let us know, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.